Hello, Sally. Well, thank you for joining us today and sharing your journey with our other customers. I know they'll find it particularly useful. Could you cast your mind back to when this extension, this work, this build was just a figment of your imagination, and explain what prompted you to go on this journey?
Yes, we've moved into a new build house. It's one of two houses that were built. We particularly wanted a lovely big lantern window in the living space of our kitchen family area, as we spend a lot of time there socializing, and it brings a lot of light in, which is super. It's a very social space and it leads out to the garden. So it was important to have plenty of light and feelings that you're connected to the outside space in the garden. The downside of that was when the sun is out, we get a lot of heat in this room, as it's a west facing room, so we get a lot of sunshine and gets very, very hot very, very quickly. We've got bifold doors on one side of us and the lantern above us, so it gets very, very hot and then it gets really uncomfortable. So we needed to get some form of shading. We have blinds we can use on the bifold doors, so we wanted something for the lantern window, because often you can just put a blind on the lantern to cut out some of the glare, and then you don't need to use the blinds on the doors. And we didn't want to get rid of the brightness of the room, because that was really important to us. So we didn't want a blackout blind so that the room would feel gloomy. We wanted something that could reflect the sun, keep us cooler, but also keep the essence of the room, so that we could still see the sky and the clouds wandering through, so that we get the essence of the room still, but reflecting the sun when it gets too hot.
Yeah, what were the options you looked at, Sally? Did you look at more than one option on your journey?
Yes, we looked at perfect fit blinds, because we've got those to some of our doors and windows, but we didn't like the idea of having lines across underneath the lantern. We wanted to keep it absolutely clear, and from everything we'd reviewed, they sag after a while anyway, and we also didn't want to manually have to open the blinds. We wanted something that was electric, that was quiet, that was efficient and simple to use, and quick and easy to use as well, so we could change our minds if we wanted the blind open or shut, or partly open or shut. So it was quite important to us that it was simple to use, efficient and quiet, rather than something that would cause a lot of problems later on and was awkward to use. And it's quite high up the lantern window, so we didn't want poles and things to open the blind.
Of course, you've got a very large roof lantern, because it's 1.5 meters wide, and that's quite a common width. It's actually 4.5 meters long.
Yes.
Did you have trouble sourcing a blind that long?
Yes, a lot of ideas looked so we'd end up with 2 blinds, to have something meeting in the middle. And again, we'd rather have had one large blind, because we didn't want to have the mechanics of 2 blinds and it would look a bit more cumbersome, and also it would be more difficult to conceal when we weren't using it. So yes, there were very few places actually did a very large blind and ticked all the boxes, and we read loads of reviews on lots and lots of sites and decided that Window Treat were by far the best site to meet our needs of what we were actually after on the blind, as we did a lot of research before we got the blind or went ahead with the blind. Yes. So when we spoke to Chris originally, he answered all our questions really, really clearly and went through our options of what we were trying to achieve, that we wanted to reflect the sun and keep us cool, but we didn't want a dark blind that made the room gloomy. In fact, even though we've got TV in the room, we don't get a lot of reflections from it, just for the angle of the sun. But if we did, we could just close a blind partially to protect the TV as well. But in fact, that's not so much of an issue. It's more the heat of the room that was the issue, but we wanted to keep the lightness of the room at the same time.
So you've actually gone for a snow white fabric,
Yeah.
which is the lightest fabric, the most reflective fabric in the range, and you've gone for the Athena blind, which
Yes.
is one of those blinds in the portfolio that is one of the largest blinds we do.
Yeah.
To do that. So the question is, have you had a sunny day yet to experience?
Yes, we have. The day they actually fitted it was sunny, so we could test it out straight away. And the fitting was fantastic. The guys were really good, really neat and tidy. We expected it to be a lot more disruptive than it was, and you'd hardly have known they were here. They were really quick, really efficient, really helpful, and they moved everything, all the furniture out of the way, covered everything up, took care over all of our things. And were really friendly, really helpful. Couldn't praise them enough. They were absolutely superb, and they've done a very, very neat job. And they also explained how it'll change maybe over time, and if there was any issues that they'd come straight out just to adjust it, which was really reassuring as well, and what to expect, and if there were any potential problems that could occur, even though they didn't think they would do. But they were very helpful and very reassuring. So we're really pleased with how they fitted the blind. Yeah.
Well, thank you. They'll be delighted to hear that. And is the blind itself, the Athena with the snow white fabric, has that met your expectations?
Yes, it's exceeded our expectations. It's superb. It stops the reflections of the heat. It makes the room much cooler. We're still keeping all the light in the room, which is really important to us. And it's so easy to operate. It's smooth and it's quiet, very, very easy. And we absolutely love it. And anybody who's come to visit us have all been really impressed with this blind because it is so good, so smooth, so quiet and really efficient. So we're really, really pleased. We'd thoroughly recommend this blind. Yeah.
And Sally, I've just got one last question, and I guess it's the million-dollar question, really. Would you recommend the Athena with the snow white fabric to the product to friends and family?
Definitely. We already have. Yeah, without a doubt.
That's music to my ears. Thank you.
It's a very gloomy day today. It's raining at the moment, which is why it won't seem quite as bright. That's it.
Yeah, it's got a long way to close at 4.5 meters, hasn't it?
It has got a long way, but you can still see through it, even though it's a very gloomy day today. All right, and I'll open it up again. Yes, we also like the fact you can stop it at any stage, so you can have it partially open, which is really useful.
Well, Sally, thank you ever so much for sharing, letting our customers into your home. And what a wonderful space you've created. So thank you ever so much.